Did that really just happen? Did all... Oh my god. This format is bull! Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the episode of MDK Racing Victor Stop. My name is Jack Krause. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's show. The Truck Series race, Phoenix, it is in the books. And we have a new champion in the Truck Series. Sheldon Creed is your 2020 Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series champion. But how this race unfolded was unbelievable. At first, it was horrible. The first two stages were dead. And then things started to get pick up. And then things just went off the rails like that. Stage 1, literally nothing happened. Zane Smith got out to the lead and led every single lap and he won the stage. Creed, Moffitt, and Infinger were second, third, and fourth, which was kind of surprising to see Smith do that well. I thought we would see Moffitt go out there and take the lead early because he has won at Phoenix in the past and he has experience there. So I was surprised Smith, being the rookie and never racing at Phoenix in a truck car, or in a truck at least, to see him go out there and lead every lap in that stage gave me confidence in thinking, okay, maybe now we can have a three-way battle for the lead, or at least for the championship between Creed, Moffitt. I'll even throw in Infinger and now Zane Smith, because I always viewed Smith as sort of the odd man out. In fact, it was actually Infinger that was the odd man out, at least for majority of this race. Like Creed and Moffitt, they started out stage 2 on the front row. Zane Smith was right behind them, behind both those guys in third. While Infinger, every single time on the restart, he would just lose 2 to 4 spots. He would be fourth on the restart, and then 8th the next lap. We actually then finally saw a battle for the race lead because stage 1 was just all Zane Smith between Creed and Moffitt. Creed was hogging the outside lane while Moffitt was always trying to get to the inside, trying to get side by side with Creed. The traction compound was not helping Moffitt at all, it seemed. And Creed was able to hold off Moffitt at bay until 16 laps to go with help from a lap car and Danny Bond. Moffitt used that car as a pick to hold up Sheldon Creed, and Moffitt was able to go by and take the lead from his teammate. Not so long after, then Zane Smith took second place away from Creed. Around that time, Creed reported that his car was at first starting to get really tight, and then it just got snappy loose near the end of the race, or at least at the end of the stage, I should say. Moffitt was able to hold off Zane Smith to win stage 2, by the way. Creed in third and Infinger in fifth. So stage 3 begins once again with Brent Moffitt and Sheldon Creed starting first and second. And then Zane Smith makes a power move on Ben Rose. I believe this is entering turn 2. So this is right before the back straightaway. Made a bold move to get underneath and get around the 99 truck of Ben Rose to take over to the third spot. And he was not that far behind the race leaders of Creed and Moffitt. And it looked like we could have a three-way battle for the race lead finally, because at this point, you only saw one battle, and that was between Moffitt and Creed. It was good, but it wasn't special, let's just say that. You would have our first caution come out with 46 laps ago. Something either broke, or I don't know what happened with the 42 car of Carson Hoosever, but he just snaps around, backs it into the outside wall on the back straightaway. Massive damage to the rear end of his truck. Took it to the garage end of the day, or end of the night for him, but that was our first caution of the race. So after that restart with 39 laps to go, Moffitt was the race leader, Creed was in second. Ben Rose was now starting to come into play. He was really the only playoff, or non-playoff driver, I should say, that at least had a shot. Because before, in this race, it was only playoff drivers in either the top 3 or in the top 5. Now we're starting to see a non-playoff driver in Ben Rose starting to come into play and maybe having a role in who wins this race. But majority of the people had their eyes on Grant Infinger. Infinger was 5th to 8th, the entire race. He was just the odd man out. He was the driver that we all expected to maybe have a shot, but he ended up being the driver that, you know, it was if you take a look at Championship 4 drivers over the years, there's always that one driver that is just nowhere near the picture. That was Infinger. Now, when that restart came out 39 laps to go, before that, his team made some adjustments, and on top of that, he had much fresher tires, so he just started knocking out drivers one by one, including, this was a very cool thing, I didn't know he did this, but he would shift into third gear in the middle, or coming near the exit right before the start finish line. He would shift into third gear to get a better drive off, and he was able to do that every single time and pick off cars one by one. And it worked so well, he got up to second place, but he was 4.4 seconds behind Brett Moffitt. During that time, with 39 to go on that restart, Moffitt took off. And we all thought, all right, it's done deal. Moffitt's got the championship. He's got the Jimmy Johnson 2007 paint scheme honoring Jimmy. It just felt like, you know, with everything that Moffitt had been through, breaking both of his legs, still coming back strong and being the most consistent driver in the season, we were all happy, or at least satisfied, with Moffitt winning the championship. Let me go back. Maybe not satisfied, but I would say okay with Moffitt winning the championship because he was the best driver, you could say, the entire season. But even though Enfinger was eating away Moffitt's lead, like with 6 to go, it was down to 3 seconds. But by that time, Enfinger would probably just be right on the back bumper of Moffitt, but it would be too late. But in typical NASCAR fashion, it's almost like it's meant to happen these days. 3 to go. A caution comes out. Dawson Cram, I don't know what the hell he was doing. He just came up right in front of Tanner Gray. He was obviously not clear, but he just came up right in front of him, wrecked himself, stopped in the middle of the back straightaway, and brought out the caution. Sheldon Creed, who was starting to slip back near the end of that race, decided to pit for tires and some adjustments. He pitted from the 4th position, as well as Zane Smith, who was weird. The first 2 stages, he was really strong. But then the final stage came into play, and he just started to fall off like a rock. Was back as far as 6th or 7th, I believe, when that caution came out. Moffitt stays out alongside with Grant Enfinger. And then, oh my goodness, the restart. That was the wildest restart I think I've ever seen in quite some time. So Rhodes, being the prick that he is, I know it's his teammate, all right? I know So Rhodes, being the prick that he is, I know Enfinger's his teammate, doing what he can to help his team, I get that, but he's still a prick, gets Moffitt squirrely. And of course, when you're racing at Phoenix on a restart and there's a dog leg right in front of you, everyone's going to dip down there. You saw 5 wide, 6 wide, 7 wide, you just saw carnage all over. But unfortunately, what you saw was Moffitt. It looked like Talladega. Everyone went to the outside, to the inside. Moffitt was the only one in the sucker hole, and he fell back quickly like a rock. The 2 drivers that moved up was Smith and Creed, the drivers that pitted for fresh tires. And they were way down low below the inside, including Creed, I don't know how he got such a run off of turn 2, but he got a huge run, was able to get inside the top 3 right away. Then he was able to get side by side with Enfinger on the back straightaway for the race lead. And then entering turn 3, Enfinger looked like he just came down on Creed, but Creed was not having any of that. Both made a little bit of contact. Enfinger slide up the racetrack. Creed goes by, takes the lead, and Creed goes on to win the race. Enfinger smacked the wall in turn 2. It was just absolute chaos. But yeah, after all that, Creed wins the championship. And okay, look, here's a look at the results. And I'm only going to be showing the championship for and where they finished. So yeah, Creed winning the race. Second place was Zane Smith. 10th, Brett Moffitt. 13th, Grant Enfinger. Now, when you take a look at the stats of Sheldon Creed, you could say it's fair. It was fair for him to win the championship. 5 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, an average finish of, I believe, 10.6, or 10.2, I should say. And if we were to take the Winston Cup style formats, Moffitt would have still been the champion, but Creed would only be behind by 9 points. So you could say it was fair. I guess you could say you understand why Sheldon Creed could have been the champion. He had a really good season. Both him, Moffitt, and Hill. Actually, I just want to point out Austin Hill, under the Winston Cup format, he would have been second, 6 points behind. So, just saying, Hill should have been in the championship for, but whatever. But it was, let me just get this straight. Dawson Cram, you pissed off a lot of people, let's just say the least. I'm pretty sure you're a nice guy, but still. Second thing. This format just exposed the good and bad parts of it. The good, look, the finish was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. That was a fun finish. But that still doesn't make up for this playoff format being complete ass. Alright? The playoff format still sucks. Alright? There's no ifs or buts about it. Still sucks, okay? The fact that 22 races or 23 races in a season, that does not matter, apparently, because it just comes down to one restart. One restart. I mean, I don't know. To me, that just doesn't taste right. That just doesn't feel right. To have everything that has happened so far in the Truck Series season to all be decided on one restart, a 2-lap shootout, is ridiculous. And I swear to God, if any of you bring up the Patriots 18-0 2008 format, please jump off a cliff, all right? I'm sorry. That might be harsh, but that is the worst excuse for this format, okay? I don't care. You can call me a baby. You can call me, I'm just a Moffitt fanboy, like one person said, because I said Harvick deserved to be in the championship for. All of a sudden, I'm a Harvick fanboy. No, I'm just being fair. Moffitt should have been the champion. Straight up. He was the most consistent. He had the best overall season. Now, I'm not as pissed off as I was with the Harvick situation, mainly because of the fact that Creed also had a really good season. And that's the only reason why I am not so pissed off like I was after the Martinsville race. But again, to have it all come down to one restart, just one restart. And I know it happens. It's life. Things happen. Yes. But this is just a cheap form of entertainment, in my opinion. This is just to get a couple brownie points for, oh, look at this, exciting racing. But at the end, it's exciting racing, but it just doesn't feel deserved, or like it just brings down the value, in my opinion. Again, I'm gonna stop myself from now because I'm just reiterating my points from my Martinsville review. I'm not gonna bring into this episode. Overall, the race, not exciting. If aside from that 2-lap, that was really until 39 laps ago when that final restart took, or the second and final restart. Before that, really nothing much happened in that race. Really nothing happened. I mean, Zane Smith led every lap in stage 1. Nothing happened in stage 1. A little battle between Moffitt and Creed in stage 2. First half of stage 3 was meh, but the final 39 laps, if you're gonna watch any part of that race, watch the 39 laps. That's all I gotta say. Now, I also want to talk about Brett Moffitt because of his post-race comments. We know, I didn't know about this, but during the truck race broadcast, it was reported that Moffitt doesn't have a contract for next year. And he has said that he would like to jump up to the Xfinity Series, which I think he should. He has had good runs in Xfinity so far this season. I can think of right off the bat, Kansas a few weeks ago was in the top 10 for a majority of the race. So I think he should go up to Xfinity. But his post-race comments were interesting, to say the least. Take a listen.
I don't have much good to say. We finally hit the setup right and can't call a race to save our lives. So it's cost us multiple times this year. Now it costs us a championship. So unfortunate, but thankful to all my partners that have been with us all season long and everyone on this team for working hard. But it's frustrating to lose them like that.
Yeah, that would look. Okay, I've heard of interviews where drivers have thrown shade. But I don't think I've ever seen it like that intentional or like just at least that blatant. I mean, he just literally flat out said, we finally get a setup right and we cannot call a race to save our lives. And now it's cost us a championship. When you're under a contract year with that team, which means you don't have plans next year set in stone, and you go out and say that makes me believe he might not be going back to GMS next year. Which also makes me then believe what spots could be up for grabs. Apparently, the 98 truck is up for grabs. Grant Enfinger, he doesn't have a contract yet for 2021, so we don't know if he's going to be returning to the 98 truck or if Moffitt could potentially take over. I know Moffitt wants to go to Xfinity, but if there are no rides for Xfinity, but there is a really good team in the truck series, which Thor Sport, I mean, the 98 car was just in the championship 4 and has won races in the past. If you're going to have to settle for a truck series team, why not go to Thor Sport Racing? Moffitt, if he does become a free agent, he will be a very, very hot driver right now. There are going to be a lot of teams that are going to want to sign him. Yeah, I just found that interesting and shocking to see Moffitt's interview, the way how it was presented, to throw his crew chief and, well, not his team, but yeah, his crew chief under the bus like that. That was, again, you can't blame him. I mean, it's in the heat of the moment, all right? You stuck a microphone in their face just right off them losing a championship like that. Expect some off-the-cuff moments. So maybe after a while when he settles down, he might regret that statement, but it's out there. I understand why he's upset, but throwing the crew chief under the bus, that was a bit... Like, I get it. Like, I understand his frustration, but... I don't know. That was a bit... It was just a bit situation. But it will be interesting to see how silly season plays out. Once the entire NASCAR season comes to a close and we get into December and January and we start to see rides being filled up as we get closer and closer to Daytona in 2021. Congrats to Creed. Don't get me wrong. Creed, I feel like he's a driver that deserved the championship, but again, this format. Oh boy, this format. I hope Xfinity just either Briscoe or Cindric. One of those two better win the championship. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. What are you guys' thoughts on this race? Tell me in the comment section down below. But until next time, my name is Jeff Krause from MDK, and I'll see you guys next time.